Rogue's map pick, SK gets to pick the sides. But we got to start with bans first, and there goes Glaz again.
Yeah, not really surprised. I imagine this will be a lion Mira. Hey, it's a lion. Probably going to be a Mira.
No.
Rogue are very inventive with their bans. I got to give them much credit for that.
Well, Secret are well known for being extremely predictable on that, but I think they've diverged a little bit since then.
Oh no, it's an Echo.
Something we saw none of last map as well. So definitely going, but they weren't the ones to ban it last time. It was SK, so that's kind of funny. They're going to take that. But then what is SK going to bring for the final ban here?
So it's identical bans to last map, just in a different order. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Shaking it up.
Original, boys. Original. You caught me off guard with the Echo pick, Rogue, but
right.
SK threw it right back in your face.
Well, I know, and they were banning in the same, I mean, the same teams were banning in the same order, too. It's just they switched up who decided they didn't want to play that.
They just switched who wanted to ban what,
yeah.
But same bans coming out, so we'll see the exact same operators in play on a new field.
Well, I was hoping for those downstairs sites, but they are going to start on Trophy first, see how they can play that. They're going to play with a fairly decent defensive lineup here, but there is going to be that Jackal coming out, as I was mentioning earlier, from Fox playing that is going to be able to stop a little bit of the roam play on this map. Now, of course, there isn't a ton of attack strats that have really well developed to pinch roamers out on the site, and so something like Jackal really helps with feeling that out. The Pulse actually could be a little bit of a surprise, but I'd like to see how this Maverick goes down, because if I recall correctly, I don't think we've seen Rogue play Maverick at all yet, but I might be wrong on that, but I want to see how they do it.
I think Slash played Maverick like twice out of the games against EG yesterday.
Yeah, I might have.
I don't know, so many games now that...
Right? It all mashes together at some point towards the end here. That's why we're finishing today.
Yeah.
Well, they are going to have the Buck and the Jackal to be able to do that vertical play as well as Sledge. So I think the floors have a chance of being opened up here a bit on this attack. So it's probably good for SK that they're not going to be downstairs just due to all that potential destruction they have, although the Buck and the Sledge will still be able to do a lot to open up those walls and set up those entry paths. Not to mention the, I want to say 1.5 hard breachers, because I don't want to identify Maverick as a full hard breacher, because it's when you get desperate at that point he becomes that, but a support hard breacher, which is, I guess in itself is, I want to say a new role, but I guess Thatcher kind of played that role to an extent already.
So we got to see this bomb site specifically quite a lot in our original matchup of, our first matchup, sorry, of C9 and Millennium, and the way Millennium were winning this bomb site while attacking so successfully and so repeatedly was that they kept pushing in through this walk-in closet, the bathroom. They'd breach open this wall into Master, or in Master into Statue area, but it was the bathroom push with a collapse from the Astronomy stairs. They just go for this north side. Ooh, a Maverick hole in the bathroom wall, but well aware it's meant as he'll back off to safety in Astronomy.
The nice thing is, even if that didn't work out, it didn't punish them, and it forces him to move. And now you've got Jackal pinging people. This is at least a decent push, which was, I would say, well read by SK, but absolutely countered by Rogue. Slash doing a great job already picking off Nyx.
Talking about Nyx's aggression in his early plays the last time around. Jarvis going to drop Slash, though, so a trade out there. That's the Jackal off the board as the Nitro from below on the Pulse. We talked about Nyx's early aggression and how he was getting away with it last time. This time, not the same luck. As I say, that shuttle's going to take down Jarvis, so trades back and forth. And easily going to make a long line across this Master Hall into Statuary. Still holding Astronomy, seems to be Pojo on the other side. No, it's Mint. He's still holding inside of Astronomy, directly across the wall, perpendicular to the doorway to make sure he's got the perfect angle to make sure no one can sneak up on him. The rotate could come from below and pinch him on the Astronomy stairs, but for right now, he's doing a good job of stalling the progression. It looks like Rogue are emulating what we saw from Millennium with that bathroom push.
Well, the fact that they're not doing anything to take the bottom floor is definitely making it easy for Jarvis, but the fact that he also uses C4 already also left it in a compromised position, and now that he's dead, they can pretty much fight this a lot more horizontal, and that's where Maverick's going to be very helpful. Unfortunately, it hasn't led to any kills yet, but it has offered a lot of pressure in opening those angles, and now they're doing what they can with the Hibana to open that up, despite any kind of potential denial they would have had from the impact nades. So this is looking like Rogue are making the push, but they're also getting a little bit low on time here, thanks to people like Mint staying alive.
Yeah. SK, for the most part, have backed off. Struggling to spot hot and on the drone. Rogue have pushed SK to the back of the wall of Trophy currently, but they can still defend the opposite site pretty effectively. Peeking up, though, and Pojo is going to fall now to Shuttle as he pulls out the 9 mil on Buck to finish off. Eclipse pushing through, hitting Elysium Mine. The L85 with a holographic is going to drop hot and cold, and it's all up to Mint as he gets pressed from multiple sides, easily going to end it. on that M4 of Maverick. So a good take there from Rogue as SK pushed deeper and deeper until they had nowhere to go.
Well, at least SK aren't going to feel too bad that they didn't get surprised by Maverick and killed by it, but it definitely seemed to impact the round quite a bit, and I like the choice. Good use of that as well to fight some of those angles a little bit better, because there are a lot of reinforcements you have to deal with as you come in that way. Yes, they work in your favor at first because they give you the ability to focus a bit more on doorways, but they also funnel you quite a bit and leave some of the defenders left alive in key positions, because they were able to Maverick those and start to force them into tighter and tighter spots, box them in. They did take advantage of that. And I think getting Jarvis off the board early definitely helped, but it was unfortunate they weren't able to catch it before he got the C4 off. So nice play by Jarvis, taking advantage of the fact that he knew they were going to be focused exactly what you were talking about on that bathroom and master, and just exploiting that. There's a soft floor, you might as well use it.
So SK not going to run their heads against the wall. They're going to elect to go to the other top floor bomb site, Aviator in Games Room, on the south side of the building. So I think we've seen a couple different variations of this push, but they all basically boil down to either pushing through study and grabbing those south stairs control and moving over towards the bomb site, or you're coming from the opposite side. You're clearing master and trophy and statuary and just holding your flanks, making sure that no one's coming up behind you, and you focus on that vault door and the vault wall itself to pinch out any anchors.
What I would like to see is, yes, they telegraphed the Maverick, but that one wall that gets reinforced on the vault side that is going to hold them out from usually getting access to that vault, burn that open, and now all of a sudden they cannot play inside that vault. And that is a pivotal rotate between the two sites, a very important area. And if you're able to at least put a lot of pressure on that, yeah, of course you open up a hole they can use against you as well. But I think that would be a key way to lock them down a little bit better, rather than trying to hope they peek you through the doorway and trying to take that fight that way. But you can also open up holes through the study as well. So I like the flexibility that Maverick's going to bring to this attack, especially with no Mira.
Very early on, but we do see 4 attackers for Rogue all amassed outside the study balcony. So looks like it's going to be the first option, I said, rather than the second one.
Yeah, this is the default way to attack this, right?
Basically, you come in on the study balcony, cleared all the utility, make sure you don't get peeked, you lock down your stairs, and peeking the stairs, there's Houghton getting pinged out by the Jackal. Can't destroy the drone either, and he'll have to back off to safety. And peeling out really aggressively last time around were SK as well. They didn't want to stand and fight for good reason. The number of crossfires established by Rogue were just immense. There was no way for SK to really fight back. A ping coming out downstairs on a defender hiding in the corner is Jarvis as he tries to escape. Triggering concussion mine and a lesion mine. Lots of spray going back and forth. None of it really connecting, but prone to the stairs. Shuttle will find Jarvis. Hitting the deck is easily as well. Super looking in from the balcony to make sure that no one is coming up behind them as they start their assault towards the main hallway. Mint still trying to stand and fight, but he's losing his support.
I love the way that Shuttle was able to take advantage of the fact that they were so baited into fighting Study from the stairwell that he came up from behind him, because when you have 4 people in Study, you're gonna be pretty focused on Study. You can't really watch the stairs at the same time, so great use of that. Here we go, seeing that Maverick as well be able to help stop this impact nading potentially, although it looks like he's deciding to talk to his team a little bit and figure this out first. Maybe even bait out one of the impacts with the Hibana, although Nyx is looking for any freebie kills here first.
So, doesn't want to go for it. Instead, they use the Hibana pellets on the bar wall into Study, and more pellets coming out to make sure they can walk through that, and the defenders of SK have backed off even deeper. Once again, a common theme between the 2 rounds as Rogue continue to box them in and push them deeper and deeper away from their territory and try to lock this down. 50 seconds, so good time management here. A lot of utility left on the board for Rogue to utilize to try and go for this execute. Hitting a lesion mine and pre-firing towards 90 as Mint is currently stationed there to try and peek back it easily. The M4 on Maverick, very low recoil, very high damage, and with the blowtorch, he's going to open up right behind Mint as he peeks out into the hallway. And now he's definitely going to spot that little torch hole, so he's not going to re-engage. So Rogue stalling out a little bit here. They had the time, but they've floundered with it a little bit. 2 Evil Eyes at the end of the hallway. That's a interesting setup there for Nyx, smoking it off. The Evil Eyes can see through, but now Rogue coming down to crunch time. 15 seconds, they all try to rush through. There's a 2-side Study attack, and easily he's going to lose out to Mint, holding inside of pool table. Like his life depends on it. He's going to take the corner. He grabs 2. He gets the 3rd. That's diffuser down. SK most assuredly are going to lock this out as Pojo joins in. Shuttle grabs 1, downs a 2nd. There's no time. No one left to plant the diffuser. It's a tie ball game.
Fantastic time delay by SK. Just well played despite all the pressure that was put on them by all the walls getting opened up. That early pick from Shuttle as well. But their flexible defense, the way they were able to move around without getting picked and giving up too much to Rogue definitely worked, but also Rogue being so focused on one entry point, I think cost them there, similar to what we were talking about with SK on their attack on Penthouse on Coastline, was just they were stuck mostly in one side. They were depending a bit on Shuttle for that flank, which worked great in the initial attack, but the fact that they were still kind of bottlenecked on that one area without good flanks from behind, or a situation where they could kind of get some more angles on some of the defenders, left them in a tough position because of time management at the end, because they had to push through some of that. I feel like they almost got that bar plant down, but just lack of manpower, couldn't watch enough angles. We'll see, though, how they go into attacking downstairs finally, as they played both the upstairs side, although they could play Trophy again if they wanted to.
Yeah, I don't... I didn't see specifically where Mint was. I think he was prone behind the pool table.
Probably.
And both Rogue attackers pressed in and got behind the bar. Mint just stands up and finds everyone, goes, "Hi guys, I'm right beside you." I actually saw the silhouettes touching each other as Mint came across, and he just guns everyone down and ends the round for Rogue. So a very good start, but like you said, time management on the execute, not the greatest. So now Kitchen, we saw this again in the C9 versus Millennium game, and we saw some interesting takes for it and also some interesting holds. Cloud9 got...
5 seconds.
They got their hold abused against them pretty hard by Millennium using the castle barricades. None such coming out from SK. So the retake ability of Kitchen is an interesting factor for me, just because we saw the attempted just rush in through the basement stairs, the wine cellar stairs, and the side entrance. That's all Millennium focused on to get the aggression in towards the objective. But there are a lot of avenues you can take to retake Kitchen and its dining room as well, coming through a myriad of angles. The entire floor is destructible, so kill holes from above could be a huge factor. It depends how you want to set it up, but Kitchen, even though being that tertiary site, I think we've seen it manipulated in ways that it can be very defensible, and even if someone gets in to get the plant down, a defending team can retake quite successsuly.
Well, that's going to come down to, of course, making sure they don't have a lot of manpower left and sectioning them out, especially if Slash can live long enough to have some pings on some of those potential retakers. I think it'll help. The nice thing, too, about having the Jackal, of course, is means if you can get downstairs, you know, somewhat safely, you can catch a player here like Jarvis with those footprints and lock him down and find out if anyone has even gone down into that basement by just even seeing footprints. You don't even have to ping them. But speaking of pings, Jarvis, he has a C4 in tow. Will he try and execute on it early this time? There's that Fox-like play I was talking about with that ITA. Great use of that. C4, though, way off mark, unfortunately, for Jarvis.
Wide right, no dice. Not going to land and take down anyone. And Jarvis just expending a C4 a little too early. Gets rid of the utility, and that was the only Nitro cell on the board for SK. So a little bit of a wasted utility, but a valiant attempt on the shot anyway. You saw the 3 heartbeats. He figured someone's got to be pressing in, and why not throw it here? As he was moving around quite a lot with the ITA.
Looks like he might have got the ping onto that pulse as well now. So ping and counter ping here coming out from Slash. The fact that he was able to stay alive through all this definitely working in their favor, as he's still continuing to open up the floor. Despite them having a buck and a sledge, he's doing most of the vertical destruction here. Obviously the grenades definitely favoring the other 2 operators, but Slash unfortunately cannot land the shot in time to make it count.
Nix was camped out in the corner, and he's going to heal himself back up as the Doc, thankfully. So all the bullets pretty much in vain, and that you have to force Nix to expend his utility. He's going to overheal and easily get the first pick here with 45 seconds remaining onto Mint. It's the Legion. Jarvis, though, going to trade it right back on a flank. Grabs 2. That's super and Slash down. Rogue in a bad spot as easily steps on a goo mine, giving away his position. And Jarvis going up the astronomy stairs for the flank. Echo looking down through the floorboards, not going to be aware of this. Shuttle going for a long wraparound to try and get towards the kitchen door hallway instead, and he's going to have a defender cutting him off. It's Houghton on a roaming, Maestro. Shuttle, though, going to take down Houghton, spots it out, thankfully. Leveling man count, 15 seconds, and easily really the only one close to sight. Finally, it'll be Eclipse joining him as he jumps down off the balcony. Shuttle with another one, rushing straight through, is easily stuck in the middle of a crossfire. Nix and Pojaman jumping in. It's all up to Eclipse now, trying to stick the diffuser. He's going to have to go in past 0-0-0, stick the defuse. They rush in. Nix is going to spot him out. Just the diffuser gets planted, so I got some extra points on the board for the defuse, but it is SK taking the lead on Villa 2-1.
I would definitely credit that down to what I said earlier about having to feel out the way that SK play their defense. They're going to have to play fairly flexible, and SK seem to have some different ideas on how they want to play it. I definitely don't think it's a case where SK walked into the wrong map here. They were definitely prepared for this as well. But also the additional intel they're getting from Jarvis playing that pulse is giving them more flexibility against that attack. They're able to identify where some of those players are. You saw that great 2K flank from Jarvis coming out as part of that. Sure, he missed the C4, but he made it count with that ump. And I think that additional intel that they're getting from that, combined with, they've got Evil Eyes and things like that sometimes, is really working in their favor because they're able to at least identify where the pushes are coming from and at least put themselves in positions where they don't get easily picked. And so they're able to burn time a lot longer. And again, that was time pressuring them into a tough spot. And that's where SK are winning this. Just keep them out as long as possible, force them into a tough plant. And that's what they're doing to win. That's both times they've won is on pretty much, I would say on time. Technically, they won on kills, but they mostly won off time.
Jarvis 6 picking to the pulse as SK head back to trophy and statuary. The other two more favorable bomb sites being locked out after SK winning them back-to-back. So they'll be forced to head to their first attempted bomb site. And like I said, Jarvis 6ing to the pulse. While it's a 6 pick and they don't know for sure, I'm pretty sure Rogue. I've read that as he's gone pulse every single round so far on Villa. Shuttle with 6 kills so far, leading the way for Rogue, but the rest of the team lagging behind a little bit as they get off to a good start on the attack of this specific site, and they've done a good job of strangle holding SK. I think that last round was actually the best round for SK. The other two were dominantly in the favor of Rogue. They just ran out of time on the second round.
Yeah, and in this case, I hope that they, it was a 6 pick, so they might not know the pulse is coming, but I would hope they would be a bit better prepared for it this time. We saw the first time they attacked this, they got C4'd from below because of the way they're going to stack up on that initial push. If they're able to drone it better and then even open up the floor a little bit so Slash can kind of ping onto the footprints of Jarvis if he's anywhere near just below that, they'll be able to hold him off and be able to do a lot better job pushing on in without risking the C4 because they've got the ping on him. Now, there is a delay between pings, and Jarvis could potentially take advantage of that to push in and throw the C4 when they're not expecting it, but that's a risky thing to do during that ping time, and just giving themselves that initial buffer to get in and not have to worry about the floor exploding underneath them, I think will give them a little bit better time management. But last time, the Maverick wasn't able to find any of the angles he needed to on them with a surprise. I gotta imagine they're gonna expect those angles this time, so probably won't work. But hopefully, he'll be able to use the Maverick to some effect, maybe mid-round, to be able to get some additional pressure on the site so they don't run into those time management problems.
Sounded like Jarvis was in a firefight with the UMP. He's made it all the way back up to Astronomy? No, I thought that was Pojo.
Well, they are bringing a Vigil this time, too, which is interesting, something they hadn't tried before on here. So they're definitely doubling down a little bit on the roam.
Hot in there in support, so you got 3 anchors, and that's really all they needed. They just got picked off one by one in 1v1 engagements last time around, SK did. So easily droning again, he's going to spot the proximity effect of Vigil's ERC on hot and cold downstairs. He's not going to know if that's downstairs or inside of Astronomy, as it repeatedly gets turned on and off. Shuttle going to get spotted out on a default down in the wine cellars. He's approaching the top of the east stairs, where currently I think it's Mint playing on the Legion. It is.
It's interesting to have Shuttle just kind of doing this one-man army push the way he does downstairs to control the rest of the map, because he seems to be able to get away with it. We're not seeing him get shut down on this. He's doing a good job droning and making sure, probably for himself for the most part, that he's safe, because he's got to hunt down Jarvis here, potentially. There's a nice initial kill. Right as I say that, there is that hunt down, but instead from Slash.
Shuttle firing back in as well, lighting up hot and cold to the Earth's end, but unable to finish him off. It'll be easily that catches him on the rotate back up the Astronomy stairs. Lots of fire coming in from that suppressed Aldo of Nyx as he tries to stand and fight inside of Astronomy, and he'll escape immediately. Shuttle ripping up the floor from below is going to cause a lot of havoc for these 2 anchors remaining. Mint was still out on that roam. The shotgun from below, 10 HP lost off of Pojo, not the end of the world. So once again, Rogue in the driver's seat, looking to take command of this game and bring it back to a tie. They're
getting down to the last 30 seconds though, and again, time has been their enemy, but with 2 kills, they shouldn't get set up for this pressure, but there we go, a nice trade back onto Shuttle. It's gonna hurt a little bit, but he hasn't been critical in the push itself.
Super's completing the plant now as the smoke canister gets launched and through the smoke. Slash will be down and finished off by Pojo as he pushes him with 2 with the shotgun now. Pulling out the SMG-11, easily still covering the bathroom, and Eclipse and Master. They have decent visibility of the diffuser, so no chance for a C9 retro stick, but Mint will run down easily, and it's all up to Eclipse in a 1v3. He's got a flank coming through the bathroom as Mint pre-fires, telegraphing his position. Another one pushing through the left Master door. The smoke canister landing right in Eclipse's lap. And Mint will be the one to finish it out. Pojo will stick the defuse, and that'll be SK taking a 3-1 lead on Villa.
Gotta love that smoke there, forcing him out of position. He had a nice angle, but he had to fight 3 different angles, so he was trying to secure all of his angles as best as he could, and the smoke just, he couldn't do anything about it. But it was a good execute for the most part, but the fact that it was one of those situations where they get the plant down and they kind of scatter, but they scattered right into SK, and that was what cost them, is just not being set up for that plant just yet. They were too busy still worrying about how many defenders were left alive, so it was good to get the plant down that early so we didn't have a time management problem, but then you had a defending the diffuser problem at that point, which they just clearly were not ready for. Either way, though, SK doing a good job on Rogue's map to maybe take this to map 3 the way things are going. However, we are still last round here before we go into the side switch, where things could definitely change up, because, as I've said before, usually you don't pick a map for the attack side, you pick it for the defense side.
3-1 lead for SK in their last round before the new half. This will be their final attempt at defense, and they'll head to Aviator and Games Room. Eclipse going to 6 to the Zofia, so he's done with the sledge, doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. Heading back to the Zofia that we've seen Shuttle have some fun with, but he's been doing really well in the buck right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost say, like, Eclipse will probably do better on Zofia than he will on Sledge, just because of the way he's able to play. Effectively, Shuttle is, as you said, has been very good on Zofia, so it is almost surprising to see him not play that, but at the same time, he's been doing very good on Buck, and I think the combination of those two will be even stronger this round than in the previous rounds, so I expect good things from that, but hopefully Slash will be able to do his work again, stay alive longer. I'm not sure the Maverick has necessarily been as impactful in these later rounds, though, to justify why they're playing him. They're doing a good job using some of those holes occasionally, but I'd say late round in the second half, they could probably utilize another operator that's better able to help them push onto the site itself. I would even say the Capital would probably be doing them better justice here at this point.
SK fighting off their back foot, having dropped map number 1, but still fighting back and putting up a very good fight so far on Villa. They really do need to capitalize on this momentum that they have, though, and take this round into the second half. The comebacks we saw earlier, so Millennium C9 is going to be a reference plenty of times.
For the rest of the
just
day,
happened most recently, and with 2 of the 3 maps in our pool here. The comebacks, the 3-round deficits on C9 and Millennium, 1 apiece, and they were able to bring it back and force overtime on both maps. So I really do believe that Rogue will have the steam to be able to push past, especially on defense, where it looks like, at least between these 2 teams, it's going to be defensive sided. Maybe it's just SK playing out of their mind, but it looks like when Rogue get in position on defense, and we saw it the same way on Coastline, Rogue's defense was just cleaner. It was just better executed than SK's defense on Coastline. So the same could be said here for Villa. We could be going very long on Villa, but if SK can acquire this round and keep their momentum forward, keep their foot on the gas pedal, and extend this to a 4-1, it'll be a much tougher task to bring back.
Some early gunfights coming here, actually working against Rogue, especially losing Slash early again, means they're not going to be able to put additional pressure on those roamers from the footprints. In this case, we don't have Jarvis on Pulse for once, though.
So Houghton takes down Slash on the Jackal, and Eclipse will trade right out onto Jarvis. As a lot of fire was heading into Trophy, Jarvis on the yellow was laying prone and just taking pop shots through the soft wall into Astronomy, not landing anything, and Eclipse was able to finish it out. So they'll press forward. Rogue in a 4v4 on the attack. Losing the Jackal, losing Smokes was probably the biggest part of all of that. They don't really have to worry about a Pulse anymore. They do have this spot here on the drone in Classical Hall.
They see the Evil Eye as well, so they know they have limited ways to capitalize on that, but that's a great one to do it. Unfortunately, it is spotted, despite the lack of sound, but Easley's still going to pressure him anyways, just as long as he doesn't expose himself too much, that can work out in their favor. And now we go Eclipse taking Classical Hall. There goes that Evil Eye.
Zapping him away, because what's the point in not doing it if Eclipse is just going to take it out anyway? Holding 90 currently, waiting for the push out. We saw Mint go for a very, very aggressive run out last time. The impact trick right above is going to do part of the job, but 1 set of pellets will survive. So Minton successful there and easily through the kill holes in the castle barricade. Eclipse joining in. It's a 2-man advantage for Rogue, but 15 seconds remaining. Got a blowtorch in hand. Pojo peeks, but traded out by Shuttle. Super joins in to round it out, and Rogue salvaged the first half. Only down a round heading into their defensive set on Villa, already up a map.
Funny to see him have more success with using the blowtorch on castle barricades than on reinforced walls, but that shows the flexibility of that attacker. I mean, I still think Capitao could have worked a little bit more out for them in terms of especially losing the smoke player earlier on, but either way, well played by them, and a great retake there of what little map control that they had still at that point. However, we'll see how their defenses go. As you mentioned earlier, Rogue's defenses on Coastline seemed very, very well put together. They picked this map. They should be even better put together on here. They're going to actually start on Aviator. We talk about as Parker likes to call it, the kind of ranked bomb spot first. But we also saw them playing Penthouse first. They'll play the more predictable side, but also spend a lot of time refining how they play it. And we're going to, again, get more Jackal here from SK. And I feel like Villa might be to Jackal what Bank was. Bank was like the main map for Jackal before, and we're seeing him a lot of on, even going back to the very first time it was played, seems to be a very good operator for this map, so I hope this gives him more of an opportunity to shine on more maps.
Yeah, I think almost in line with Theme Park, but not to the extent of the size anyway. It has a lot of rooms downstairs where a lot of roamers can maneuver and hide, and a lot of winding corridors through the middle floor, and there is also a wine cellar.
Well. Yeah, the wine cellar that you always hope you don't find a ping in because you're like, oh, great, now we got to try and hunt him down there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the layout of wine cellar if my life depended on it.
Windy.
I'm never getting down there, so it's never really in my purview, so that's what I mean. I mean, Jackal, yeah, when you include the wine cellar, I think the real estate is not on par with Bank, but comparable.
Yeah, and there you see a similar evil eye to what we just saw from SK because, well, that's the benefit of a 90-degree hallway, right? Is to be able to see down both hallways, similar to what you see done on Coastline as well, on that same kind of 90-degree angle that you have leading to theater and away from it as well. So makes sense to have that. I mean, it's a big question where the second one is, but that is one that makes a lot of sense to have there, and actually can be a pain to take out potentially. And also, you saw him open the hatch below it. We'll see if Nyx can be effective again on Zofia as they start to try and push in. He's going to draw a lot of fire initially, though, just trying to enter.
Travis had him on drone. It was Eclipse on the Jaeger. And he backs out and rips all the way over to the east stairs to safety, but not for long, as Pojo will cut him off on a window right outside of Trophy.
Pinches seem to be what SK is good at. It's just they're not always as swift as you'd like, but that was definitely a fast one.
It's a great start for SK as well as they look to push their lead even further, obviously dropping map number 1. If they're going to push this to Consulate, they're going to need to frag out here on the attack and move with swiftness. Shuttle going to come in and refill Eclipse's position with an Ela instead of the Jaeger, so faster fire rate, probably not the greatest effective range though on the Scorpion with the even with the new recoil update. Not the best.
Well, we've seen a lot of shotgun play with it as well, and that's something that I'd say, depending on how you're going to play the positioning and stuff, can work very, very well. But also, there's some very good players on it. We actually usually see a lot of times Eclipse playing on that role. It's interesting to see the little bit of a change up, but Shuttle's also very good on that role, so it makes a lot of sense to take advantage of that.
Excairo's coming out from 90 window from Pojo as he'll rip open the vault wall, the same wall we've seen Rogue attempt to open up multiple times when attacking this objective, and Pojo going to go for rotate over towards the study balcony. So SK got their entry and their map control pretty quickly on the far side, but starting to slow down a little bit. A flank hold at the bottom of the main door by South Stairs. Being held pre-fires, but it's Jarvis going to win that out and establish a 2-man advantage now for SK as they start their collapse and execute onto the bomb site.
Well, that was definitely a great second kill. They're doing a very good job taking out the roamers here, and I think that's going to benefit them. But their speed being so slow at this point is really where, that's my concern, is them being able to execute. But their map control has been excellent. I think they could potentially take this round just off of how much map control they've controlled.
Jarvis ripping open the study balcony window. She's trying to get in. Pojo at the door as well. So lots of collapsing happening from SK from multiple different angles. It seems like every single person on SK has a different direction to go. Houghton peeking down 90 will drop easily. It's a 2v5. Slash and Super trying to hold out. Has just SK all over the objective. Super's gonna drop Houghton for the first pick on Rogue's side. Rushing through the shotgun, he takes down the Jackal of Mint. Super joining in as well. Nix will fall inside the smoke canister, holding the diffuser. Downs another one. Slash on a run. It's down to the 1v1. He needs to wait for Jarvis to try and go for the plant. Picks up the diffuser behind the vault door, and Super's gonna rush out now. Stuck on the rotate, has to push through the vault door and look left. Pulls the trigger, and Rogue complete the 2v5.
Really well played. Going back to what I was like when on Coastline, that whole kill initial ones, but if the site players are still left, the roamers on the Rogue are more expendable than I think SK would like. But either way, great play again by Slashhug on that smoke. Very pivotal. That was a little bit risky sneaking into that smoke like that, but it absolutely worked. It almost cost him as he was luckily quick on the reflexes, managing to get the second one as well. Definitely helped. It was unfortunate he got down, but the amount of delay that caused getting the diffuse planter like that ultimately put them in a position where he just was not able to plant fast enough. Overall, though, I think that was a pretty good round by SK and shows some good attack potential here if they can continue to refine that. However, Rogue, of course, are going to be looking for opportunities in some of those holes on that attack in terms of where else they can play on those roams and maybe not get killed so early. But in the meantime, they're going to switch over to Trophy, as of course they cannot play Aviator again since they won it.
I think the biggest problem there is what I kept touching on as the round was winding down for that last minute was the separation for SK. Just everyone pushing a different angle and not a lot of bomb cover. You saw 3 people all emerging from Master.
It was all about the smoke, right?
B-bomb door, yeah. And then everyone kind of veered off in their own position, and I mean, a wonderful job to Super and Slash be able to hold that out. I think if SK were a little more cohesive, just closer together for the cover to be there for the trades, I mean, that is a very loud crowd. When you're in a 2v5, or in a 5v2 on the attacking side, you have the favor and the man advantage. You're probably not thinking, okay, everyone needs to be in position for trade-outs. You're thinking, okay, we have massive man advantage. We're going to swarm the site and just hold our angles. At least it wasn't a case of like what happened with Rogue, where they just kind of scramble from the plant to get caught doing so. It was just a case of they got caught on the plant itself by Slash. Yeah.
We'll see, though, if things go equally well this round. We're seeing, again, the Jackal being brought out because it's so effective. SK, though, not going to try Maverick the way we saw Rogue doing. I don't think it was bad, but I wouldn't say it was great either. It was something that just was great to see it tried and made some good inroads. And we'll see if the plays here from Nix, again, will be important. But an IQ is something I don't think we saw from Rogue before that might help in being able to spot at least a decent amount of the gadgetry in terms of Evil Eyes and Goo Mines, as well as maybe a few of those ADSs so they don't get caught out trying to save smoke for sight. Assuming, of course, that Mint can stay alive long enough to make sure that that smoke can happen again like it did last time. Because this bomb site in particular is one where smoke is especially helpful because of all the views across the way between the two from that kind of skylight hole. You definitely want that extra bit of coverage if you can get it, as well as cutting off the rotations from those doorways.
So SK going for a far side clear. Nothing unusual about that. We saw this earlier from Millennium once before, but it was the Cloud9 defense stationed inside of Aviator and Games that stalled out Millennium for the entirety of the round. No one on Millennium even looked at the objective. They all got busy trying to take the far side of the map from the defenders that were stationed on Cloud9. This time, no resistance on behalf of Rogue to slow down SK. They're going to go for the full far side clear and push in. Biggest problem is going to be the flanks from below, as I believe it's a 2-man roam on the main floor. Come up behind them or on any of the staircases. One
thing they did about that, at least, was that Claymore on top of the stairs, I think will be important in potentially holding off that retake you're mentioning, because, yeah, that is their big concern. And so that's their solution at this point. Rather than spending a lot on flank watch, let's throw some Claymores on there and get set up for our attack and not worry too much about the roamers just yet. But, yeah, absolutely. That if they're able to get past those, there's 3 stairwells to deal with. It's not going to be easy to keep them off.
Mint saying everyone needs to come and fight me now. He's baiting the shot out, but unable to land it onto Super, or at least the finishing blow. Takes a lot of damage on that pixel peak by Mint with the ACOG C7. We saw Slash running a holographic C7 earlier. Again, the SK attack looking a little spread out, but at least a little more condensed on this same area where they all began their descent onto the last objective. Pojo alone out on the balcony, but he's just going to be breaching open the wall as soon as some bandit batteries can be removed. Easily finding some competition over this bathroom window, firing back and forth Eclipse. Very brazenly runs right through the bathroom window as well as they all try to bail out. Lots of fires in towards the red pings, but again, A very fast round, 20 seconds remaining, it's down to a 5v5. Smoke canisters being dumped in by Slash. They all try to hold. 15, it's still a 5v5. It's gonna become a bloodbath here. The smokes come out and Pojo starts things off, but the diffuser is lost again, easily holding inside the cubby. Spraying left, but it's Nyx able to recover. Picks it up and rushes in. Slash brings it to an even man count once again. Nitro gonna fail. Eclipse grabs another. They're trying to stick the plant. Pojo brings it again to a 2v2. Plant completed by SK. And they all run out, trying to bail and cover from the hallway. Pojo posted up, and Nyx going to be covering with a drone as well, trying to get a drone on diffuser. It's going to spot out, and Pojo with a pre-fire is going to drop Eclipse, shuttle down to a 1v2. The drone again, firing wildly at the drone, finally able to destroy it. A wonderful shot from Shuttle, and it's now a 1v1. Shuttle against Nyx, trying to go for the retro take, and now he's going to spray in, but Nyx wins it out. SK avoiding the collapse once again, and they'll take the advantage 4-3.
What a great take there in terms of using all of the distraction. The fact that there's two bomb sites kind of separated.
So jumping right back into Villa. Rogue up a map, down 4-3. Still on the defense. They're going to like to go back to Trophy and Statuary now.
Yep. I think they had a pretty good defense of it. It was more just that SK took advantage of a little bit of oversight in terms of their plant coverage. And that was absolutely what they needed to do. But at the same time now, Rogue are going to be better prepared for that. And hopefully they have that communication to their roamers to be able to play that. They are, again, continuing with the roam here as they are bringing, I believe, that shuttle on the Vigil. So that should be fun to see how that goes down here. I imagine he's probably going to be playing quite a bit off-site. There's no reason to play a Vigil super close to site. So he's going to be probably off a bit more than Eclipse will, who I imagine is also going to roam on that Jaeger. Hopefully doesn't get caught too early. I like the addition of the bulletproof camera there. That might provide the coverage that they need, because you remember last time there was definitely a lot of smoke going down, and that's definitely a big part of SK's plant strategies. Although in this case, I just now noticed it, Montaigne coming out here. That should be fun.
Yeah, it was Mint6 picking off the IQ to the Montaigne, so an interesting decision there. But like I said, last time, what I want to see here from Rogue is a lot more aggression on the defense. Try and take the fight to SK, because SK was just afforded all the real estate and time they could ever want and need on the last attacking round.
Well, that's on Shuttle, I think, at this point, to be able to just provide that distraction, deny as much of that map control as possible, because their inability to drone him, I mean, assuming he's using his ability correctly. So if he can continue to do that, and like you said, that map control giving up for free just gave SK the extra time that they needed, because without that extra time, it does become much more difficult. It's kind of funny to see them try and counter the smoke itself with a bulletproof camera in a round where they're not bringing smoke outside of Montaigne this time. Last time it was the Jackal, so they do have the ability, but it's much riskier to throw a smoke, I think, with Monty, because you have to kind of throw down your shield for just a second, exposing yourself a little, and usually you're trying to provide coverage from someone else who could potentially throw that smoke.
Super tossing out a lot of Legion Mines, but we've also seen a lot of Legion Mines get shot, just like that, as Mint ADSs with the P9 on Montaigne, not electing to go high noon with the revolver.
No. I can't imagine Rogue predicted this Monty coming out here, so this is definitely going to throw a little bit of a wrench in what they're trying to do. So if they can't adapt quickly, maybe this will be SK taking another point lead.
Wow, Hot and Cold taking a lot of damage through the wooden barricade as the pre-fire back from easily as he's watching his Evil Eye as well. Shots going back and forth, and it's still Rogue winning out in this short engagement, but no kills just yet. Once again, SK has surrounded the site after going for a far side clear, and Shuttle needs to go for this flank and be the devastating force that Rogue needs to stall out and be the knife in the back, almost literally.
He's going for it, though, but the slow creep is exactly what they need. He cannot afford to give away anything. There are a lot of loud sounds going on, though. He can take advantage of as he moves.
So Mint is also taking a lot of damage in the process, so health advantage clearly in the favor of Rogue, as none of them haven't even been touched yet. And we're still waiting on Shuttle to go for the flank as 45 seconds tick away. Once again, a 5v5 looking like a bloodbath in the last 20 seconds.
A low health Monty like that with the smoke still on the board and impact nades and things like that. I can't see Mint being pivotal in this attack anymore. He's even having to push back from those smokes. He's losing his effectiveness due to low health. They might even consider resetting him at this point just so he's not completely useless.
Only problem is there's not enough time. The concussion nade's coming out, and once again, a 5v5. No time on the board. Lots of sprays coming through. One bullet went down Mint, but he's able to fight on through. The flank coming up, and here comes Shuttle from behind, looking the wrong direction. Nyx will trade him out, but not before super grabs Pojo. 10 seconds left. Diffuser down, as Mint has been down in the process. Nyx with another knife, but easily going to finish it off. He's got the diffuser cover, and this is going to be a lockout for Rogue, as easily covers. There's no time left. The pre-fire not even necessary. It's a 4-4 game. 2 rounds remaining in regulation. First to 2 lest we head to overtime to either send Rogue to the grand finals against Cloud9 or keep SK alive.
Well, so far it's definitely looking like we could see that overtime. But at the same time, you never know. I mean, we've seen it kind of go back and forth. You saw, for example, 3 defensive wins come out from SK. We have yet to see those same 3 come out from Rogue. If they do get that, then and it goes similar to what we saw last time. Of course, anytime it's symmetrical, you end up with a 5-5 overtime. But this was Rogue's pick. They should have more in store here. SK not going to try, unless they 6-pick it, the Monty again, but bringing Ying is something they haven't yet, or hadn't done yet. But Mint is going to try it one more time. I would say it was somewhat effective in that they were able to push pretty aggressively, but the fact that they were able to hold them back for so long and do damage to both the Monty as well as the Ashe, and kind of keep them from being super aggressive, is really what helped win them that round, because just the lack of ability to fully utilize Monty makes him kind of dead weight on the team at that point. Not that they didn't use him at all, but he can't be as aggressive. He can't do as much to push them off site to set up for that plan.
So SK seemingly emulating a lot of what Vitality brings with their 30-second pushes. Anyway, returning back to the objective as well, Aviator in games. This is the round that Rogue 5v2'd on their first defensive hold. It's a tough position to be in, but they still made it work by taking down the Diffuser as he tried to rush in. It was Mint on the Jackal, I believe, who had the Diffuser and launched a smoke in, but it was slashed with the shotgun point blank range. That removed him from play pretty swiftly. Similar style, though, on the attack last time when they attacked Aviator in games as well, that SK, 30 seconds left, they all start swarming the objective, and it's just a crazy shootout inside the objective, and defenders floundering, attackers circling crazily. It's been a very chaotic push scenario here for SK.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Shuttle's changeover to Valkyrie makes a difference. He was very effective with the Vigil, but the fact that he didn't have enough intel on where they were actually playing meant his flank wasn't as effective as it could have been. I feel like he could have gotten into 2K had he had better knowledge about where the attackers were playing from. They're, again, not going with the Pulse, but having the Valkyrie means he's going to have additional intel, because you're going to have the Evil Eyes and the Black Eyes providing that information, which means the Monty, of course, is going to get spotted very early. That's not going to be a surprise at all. Nice control, again, of the stairs by using the Claymore. Seeing what they can do this time. Of course, got to manage that diffuser well and make sure they're able to get it close enough to site that they don't run into those time management problems again.
Well, this is looking like it might be headed to overtime just based off of site rotation.
Yeah.
Rogue win this round, they'll have the top 4 bomb sites both locked out, and they'll have to be headed downstairs on one of the least favorable bomb sites, at least on this map. If they lose, then they'll have to run it again and pray that the defense wins, or we're headed to map number 3. Mint gonna start things off with the P9. A Candela launched in a 90, but not before Super can take down all the X-Kairos pellets off the wall of Vault, or at least not all of them. You got a good chunk of them, so there's a tiny hole in the Vault wall on the outside. It's actually a good amount of them. I thought Super was able to connect with more of those pellets, but at least a monumental pick onto Easily. That Alda off the board and the Evil Eyes locked in place, unable to do any damage and plant delay.
Well, the kill onto the Maestro as well, I'd say, is more important than getting the X-Kairos out there, because Maestro has been pretty important in actually just repelling the push. Him off the board means it's going to be more work for Slash to continue to do that. They also have the C4 potential, though, from the Valkyrie that could help with that. But in the case of Eclipse not being able to get into that great roam position just yet. I mean, 30 seconds coming down, though, they are going to be a bit more focused on the push. That's his opportunity, but they know where he's at this point.
Pressing down towards 90, taking a lot of pot shots towards the end of the hallway. I believe it's on Hot and Cold. Mint taking a lot of damage, shows Hot and End. Jarvis, he's going to rush back into sight so that Eclipse can help with this plant push. 15 seconds remaining, and it's going to be up to the smoke of Slash to stall this out even longer. Shuttle's going to grab a kill onto Jarvis downstairs as well, so no more frag grenades left on the board. Trying to rush through. Pojo's going to grab Eclipse, so a man advantage now for SK, but it's going to be Mint trying to press up against the wall and go for the plant. A Nitro Set will miss. Slash with a great shot with the SMG-11. Mint sticking the defuse right behind the bomb. The pings are coming out, and Shuttle will take down Mint, and they'll win it once again. SK The 30-second push not paying off in back-to-back rounds, and Rogue 1 round away from meeting Cloud9 in the grand final. The only problem is they can't go to either of the top floor bomb sites.
It'll definitely be interesting to see what they choose. I mean, I got to imagine it's going to be Kitchen. Very rarely do any teams want to play in that library outside of maybe Vitality, and I think maybe one other team. But either way, it should be interesting to see if this is what gives the advantage to SK to be able to claw back and force it into overtime is just due to that site rotation alone and the way the math works down. I got to imagine he's faking the Montane this time to 6th pick it, or maybe just deciding they know they don't. It doesn't matter at this point. Again, you're going to see a pick from the Vigil to the Valkyrie, but this time from Easley, who's usually been playing that Maestro and playing it pretty well. So we'll see a different site though, different strat, different operators, and I like the way he teased that. They didn't. I gotta imagine when they saw the Vigil, they probably thought that was Shuttle, but them switching off, that means they won't necessarily be prepared for Shuttle on the Legion.
The one benefit SK has here is that the 30-second chaotic rush works pretty well inside of kitchen and dining room for the attacking side. Just because of how segmented it is, if everyone storms in, you can start holding angles against a lot of hard walls that the defenders inherently reinforce to protect themselves from outside pushes. But it's that service entrance door, the kitchen side entrance, and the downstairs wine cellar push that Millennium brought out against Cloud9 that was so devastating. And only bringing the Hibana here, typically the kitchen service kitchen and dining room site is where you'd most likely see a thermite out of all of the bomb sites on Villa. But Pojo sticking the Hibana has had good success in getting the pellets off. It was really just the first time that anyone on Rogue last time around was able to stop the breach from happening. It was Super just running into the hallway and almost sacrificing his life for the pellets.
And it's interesting to see them also sticking with the Monty, despite playing 3 different sites now on it and losing 2 of those already. So this is kind of a bit of a gamble. I would almost like to see him come up from pantry stairs and just hold that kitchen door even, just to cut off any rotates. Of course, that offers your back to them, but still would be kind of fun to see him just try and section off that kitchen, so that way if they push into the dining room, there's less flexibility on that defense because there's no windows open or anything in that kitchen to take from the outside. But either way, the Monty looks like he's doing something different for the moment. Probably going to be used for a little bit of roam clear as well if necessary. But I got to imagine the black eyes are going to be once again helpful in making sure that they have an idea where that shield's going to be coming from and being able to push against it a little bit more effectively. Again, they have the smokes and the C4 as well as those goo mines to try and slow them down. But you can't slow down Nyx on that Zofia, and he gets a nice early kill on his flash, and that is a smoke off the board. That is a big kill.
Easily going to join in and trade out Pojo. So that's the breach off the board for SK with their backs against the wall. This is an elimination point for them. They'll head to the 3rd place match if they lose this round. Eclipse with a great pre-fire around the corner. Takes the head off of Jarvis. It's going to extend deeper into the hallway outside of kitchen. The bottom of the astronomy stairs, a pivotal point to hold. And Rogue going to continue on. Nyx on the shield means there's only 2 automatic weapons on the side of SK to use for the cover. They're going to send the shield into plant with his back in the turtle format. This is a good hold from Rogue here. They still have a little bit of roaming potential as Shuttle had, Eclipse had pushed out into the hallway. It's going to be easily spotted out at the side entrance. No one pushing it from SK this time around, and it's all going to break down. 60 seconds left on the round for SK to push this into overtime, or it's all over. A Nitrous Hell being launched out, and that's going to take down Mint. The shield is gone. Diffuser lost. Now both attackers pushing through. Super grabs 1. Nyx grabs 2, though. It's a 1v2. Nyx down low to about 20 HP, has site control, and he's waiting for the defenders to attempt the retake. They're both off of site, taking the corner right below where Super is, taking the shots. Nyx able to drop Super. That's 3 on the round for him. The 1v1, the health advantage in favor of Eclipse for Rogue to lock it out. Nyx needs to recover the diffuser lost inside of the A-bomb. Eclipse holding right on the other side of the hard wall, taking an aggressive angle behind the table. Nyx with a pre-fire, going to give away his position. The Nitrous now launched out, not going to land. Nyx a little bit lower, he pushes it, but Eclipse is going to close it out. Rogue to the grand finals against Cloud9.
6-4, 6-4 shows that SK pushed it as far as they could without going to OT, down to the wire every time. But Rogue just better prepared, better adapted, but I love the gumption from SK trying that Monty time and time again. But I gotta imagine Mint's kicking himself a little bit for it just not working. any of the times. Either way, though, a fantastic effort by SK, showing why they are on the top of the leaderboard. A team that had been considered a third-place team for a long time. Now with the EG's downfall at this event, starting to wonder, do we have another top 2 pair here instead of just Rogue EG? Do we have Rogue SK to be that? But Cloud9 still has an opportunity to prove it.
For sure, and that was a great series to actually watch. Great job there for Rogue. I gotta commend you, Flynn. I love your enthusiasm. I love how you're probably 8 feet taller when the matches are over with the way you're leaping, but that seemed very exciting. Almost a nice clutch there by Nyx in the end as well on